the AFC Championship game, the NFC Championship game, also college hoops. The women, 93 straight wins for the Yukon Huskies. Also the Australian Open. They have it all that in a bag of chips. Bucci, Anderson, Sports Center at night. Tonight, 11 o'clock on ESPN. Also streaming live on the Watch ESPN app.
Right, but you're sitting here 20 seconds. Calm down.
Ryan Clark, you pumped up or what? You excited to be?
Well, I'm not pumped up because, you know, kind of my guys are out of it. But I'm excited that two very good teams win.
That's it. Tom Brady, 7th Super Bowl for him. What'd you see from him today?
You saw what you always see against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's been successful against this team. He's been successful against this zone blitz scheme in which Keith Butler now employs that Coach Dick LeBeau made famous in Pittsburgh. And there were many times we were one of the best defenses in the league, and a lot of times ranked #1, and you would go in and Tom Brady would pick us apart. The way that he dissects the defense, the way that he understands where to get the ball out, the way he slides in the pocket. We saw all of those things on display tonight. And you have a guy like Chris Hogan who caught more passes tonight for more yards than he did in a full year for the Buffalo Bills. You also saw Julian Edelman work the middle of the field. You saw double passes, flea flickers. Josh McDaniels, and the offense coordinator of the New England Patriots, he pulled out all the stops. And when you have a guy like Tom Brady, you feel confident doing so. And so it was an excellent game plan by the Patriots, executed by one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game.
Do you think Tom Brady right now, on this day, is the best Tom Brady you've ever seen?
It's hard to say. You know, it's hard to say that he's better than 16-0 Tom Brady. It's hard to say that at any point in his career throughout those two MVPs, throughout the Super Bowl MVPs, that this is the best we've ever seen him, because you do have to go back to last week. You know, if we're talking about Tom Brady last week, he wasn't this guy. He got to play against a team he usually excels against. But today, for one day in this AFC Championship, he was one of the best Tom Bradys we've ever seen, and we've seen him on this stage come up big, and that's what big-time players do, and future Hall of Famers, that's what you expect from them.
Well, they got the victory last week. As you said, it wasn't a proud performance for them, at least that's according to Coach Bill Belichick. What adjustments did you see them make in offense where they were a different Patriots team today against the Steelers?
Well, I think if you look at the Texans defense presents problems that the Pittsburgh Steelers cannot. If you go back to losses for the New England Patriots in the playoffs, it's the Denver Broncos, a team that can rush the passer and play press man in the back. When you look at it against the Baltimore Ravens of old, the only team that really goes into Foxborough and gets wins in these type of situations, they can play that type of defense as well. The Pittsburgh Steelers cannot. There's no A.J. Bouye. There's no Jonathan Joseph. There's no Merciless. There's no Jadeveon Clowney. They don't have those type of people to employ the type of defenses and schemes, the things you have to do to pressure Tom Brady and to disrupt his wide receivers. The Pittsburgh Steelers have to play zone. They have to use fire zone to get pressure. When you're playing Tom Brady, he's so smart at dissecting defense. He's so smart at the pre-snap reads that he finds where to go with the ball. He's always patient, and he gets it to his receivers with opportunities to run after the catch. And we saw that again tonight from Tom Brady and the New England Patriots offense.
Well, you just put on a clinic on exactly what the Steelers needed to do. And they didn't have the guys to do it, nor the scheme. It didn't sound like it was working. But I actually want to talk about the Steelers' offense here, because Le'Veon Bell was out for most of this. How does that change the Steelers' offense?
Well, if you look at Le'Veon Bell in the playoffs, right, he comes in, he breaks the record for the Pittsburgh Steelers in all-time rushing yards for one game. The next game, he just breaks his own record. This team had become a team that ran behind Le'Veon Bell, and I don't mean that as a pun, but this team was led with the priority on offense being get him the ball, grind the clock out, and have opportunities to score. When you take him out of the game, you now become one-dimensional. It's not that DeAngelo Williams can't run the football, but he's an over 30 back. He's not the best back in the league, which Le'Veon Bell is. So now you become one-dimensional. They were obviously doubling Antonio Brown all day. It was hard to get balls to the playmakers on the outside. So without that run game, it really hurt this team from being able to move the ball consistently against this Patriots D.
When you say one-dimensional, what do you mean exactly? What does that mean?
Well, what I mean by that is, right, when you come into a game, you want the team to have to plan to stop two things. You want them to have to work up front to stop the run, but you also want them to have to worry about the pass outside. With a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers and Todd Haley, the offense coordinator, he wants to run the ball first, and that's when reason you can get the play action down the field to Antonio Brown, using Jesse James underneath to make plays, Eli Rogers down the slot. But if you can't run the ball, you don't draw the linebackers up in play action. They aren't trying to get to your quarterback. They aren't trying to stop the run. You don't have to put 8 men in the box. So now you can keep Malcolm Butler on Antonio Brown short with the safety over the top. And when you allow Bill Belichick the opportunity to scheme you and opportunities to just stop one thing, he's always going to be able to do that. So losing Le'Veon Bell allowed him to focus more on the passing game and not worry so much about the run.
The big matchup we were all looking at going into this was Antonio Brown and Malcolm Butler. What did you see there?
Well, I think what you see is what's going to be a preview going into next week. Listen, when you have the Antonio Browns and the Julio Joneses of the world, you can't put one guy on him and say, just stop him. But what you do is you allow Malcolm Butler to beat Antonio Brown up at the line, make releasing into the next level hard for him. And then when he gets into the next level, he was playing what's called man underneath. So he allowed Antonio Brown to get up the field. He was inside and underneath with the safety over the top and outside. So now all those routes that have to develop down the field, you can't, because it now becomes a double. And when you have that opportunity, now Ben Roethlisberger has to go somewhere else. The same way that Matt Ryan would have to find a way to go somewhere else next week with Julio Jones.
All right, well, Matt Ryan certainly has his hands full to have to face this Patriots defense. But let's take a look at the highlight from this Patriots-Steelers game up in Foxborough, where it was a little chilly, a little damp, but only a couple people complained. I would have loved to have been there. And Tom Brady, Big Ben, the Killer Bees, what would they do? Well, it was really all about this guy, Chris Hogan, who looked as comfortable as ever out there. You got to figure Bills fans are like, wait, is that the same Chris Hogan that played for us? Because we don't remember that.
How many times has Tom Brady made guys like Chris Hogan become household names?
That's what he does, right? So Patriots, they go up. New England up 10-6 here. Little flea flicker. Just what you were talking about. Brady, who's he go to? Hogan.
And it wasn't even a clean catch. And you see right here, Mike Mitchell bites up on the run. He's going to try to fill the hole from the middle of the field safety. Chris Hogan jogs off the line on the flea flicker pitch back, runs past the middle of the field safety, touchdown for the Patriots, easy pitch and catch.
Patriots go up 17-6. Hogan, 9 receptions, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. You know who else had that stat line?
Julio Jones.
All right, Le'Veon Bell had a rough first half against the Pats. First quarter, Bell up the middle, and this is where it started to fall apart for them.
If you watch the way the Patriots were playing him, they were staying in their lanes. They weren't getting upfield, giving him creases where he can be patient and hit the seams. It was a very smart game plan by Matt Patricia and the rest of that defensive staff.
Well, he stayed out, came back in, though, tried, but he was immediately taken out. 6 carries, 20 yards. Not a stat line that he's going to like. Steelers missed some really key moments in the first half. Roethlisberger to Jesse James. And it looks like it's going to score a touchdown, but the play, it's going to be reviewed. Watch this again. James's knee touches down short of the goal line.
Yeah, and this is huge. This was a big stop by the Patriots following this play after the review.
All right, D'Angelo Williams stopped, dropped for a loss of 3. And watch head coach Mike Tomlin. Nah, not good. Well, next play, 3rd and goal. Big Ben pass. Eli Rogers.
Just off the mark. He was kind of off the mark all night with his accuracy.
Steelers down 17-9 at the half. 3rd quarter. Patriots up 29. LeGarrette Blount coming through, breaking tackles. And then look at this pileup.
This is demoralizing. When you can't get the guy down, I was just happy he didn't get in the end zone, because we have to watch that play for the next 2 weeks.
There's look like a bunch of bees surrounding something sour. Blunt then carries it up for the touchdown. Patriots, they go up 27-9. Little LeBron dance action right there. I like it. So Steelers possession here. Big Ben to Rodgers across the middle. Ball knocked out, and then the Patriots recover here.
This is where it started to fall apart for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was already going downhill. You were down on the scoreboard. You couldn't afford turnovers.
All right, well, 4 plays later. Look at Matt Patricia first. Yeah.
The beard.
The beard, yeah. He's the beard of the NFL. Julian Edelman, where are you at?
Nice little option route here on Will Gay. Pushes him inside, right back to the outside. When the quarterback has his hands up, like, hey, what happened, Mr. Ref? You know it's a bad day.
Brady, 384 yards, 3 touchdowns. The Patriots headed to the Super Bowl. Bill Belichick 7th, Tom Brady's 7th. Ben Roethlisberger done, along with Antonio Brown, the Killer Bees. Not too happy. All right, so taking a look at this game, I love asking you this question behind the scenes, but I'm going to ask you here on live TV. How would you describe this game in a nutshell?
Bad, right?
Why?
Because I want the Steelers to win.
Let's
in a nutshell, so here's what this game was. Two teams came into the game with a game plan. One of them executed theirs to the T. Another team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, lost the main focal point of theirs. Obviously, when you go into this game, you want to keep Tom Brady off the field. You want to keep your team winning time of possession. When you lose your running back, you can't do that. And when you come into the game, Matt Patricia and Bill Belichick, you can tell by the way this defense was playing the run, they weren't going to let Le'Veon Bell crease them. They weren't going to let Antonio Brown get open on the outside in man-to-man coverage. And so they executed that game plan to a T. When you look at Tom Brady offensively, he knew he needed to hit the spots in the zone. They kept running the empty set, which is no running backs. The Pittsburgh Steelers, Dom Capers in Green Bay, now Tennessee Titans, all those coaches come from the Dick LeBeau tree. Whenever a team goes empty, there's an empty check. And it's universal. No matter what coverage they're in, they go to the empty check. Tonight, that empty check was 3 deep coverage, where both of the corners played outside and the deep safety in the middle. They would go empty, run number 2, the slot receivers up the seam, and hit the outside guy. You saw that over and over again. The New England Patriots are the best team at taking what you give them. If they practice something, if they work something, and they see it, they attack it. They don't try to go off of the path. They don't try to figure out something else. They go with what they practice, and that is why they were so hard to stop tonight. What
was the best coaching adjustment you saw in this game? Doesn't matter which side.
Well, I think the best coaching adjustment was definitely the New England Patriots understanding that underneath routes were the way to beat this team. If you watched William Gay, if you watched Artie Burns, the ball wasn't going over their heads. They weren't pushing the ball past Ross Cockrell down the field. What they were doing was taking Hogan underneath, allowing him to run and catch. You saw him in the second half catch a ball on a cross in man-to-man coverage against Will Gay and get yards after the catch. Julian Edelman finding ways to catch underneath passes and get down the field. When you saw that they weren't going to allow you to beat them deep, they now found all the creases in the zone. And when you do that, when you keep moving the ball down the field, eventually you'll get deep. And that's what we saw with the flea flicker. Tom Brady and the New England Patriots are very patient. You know, we would say all the time when we were playing teams, make them be patient. Offensive coaches can't be patient. Quarterbacks, they want the big play. They want the glory. Tom Brady's not like that. Bill Belichick has gotten this team to a point where it's about winning. It's not about numbers. It's not about how it looks. It's not about the way we do it. Winning is the right way, and that's the way they want to do things. And if you watch them, they're a team that understands what the game plan is, how to execute the game plan, and they do it better than anybody in the NFL, no matter what the pieces are, whether it's David Patton or Chris Hogan. They know how to get people in the right places to be successful, and that's hard to do.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into this conversation between me and Ryan Clark. It's like coffee talk here on Sports Center.
I can't do accents, so I'm just going to talk like this.
The New England Patriots get the victory over the Steelers. Here's head coach Mike Tomlin.
Not a lot went our way tonight, not only in terms of the final score, but just how the game was played. They're to be complimented for that. We didn't get the things done that we wanted to get done, really, on offense or on defense and on special teams in a consistent enough manner for it to be competitive and close. And some of the splash plays that you look for in those competitive and close games, things that we've done during the stretch run that we've had over the second half of the season. Just not enough positive things in terms of the style of play for those things to unfold. So the result is the result. Be happy to address any questions you might have.
Le'Veon Bell's condition, can you give any kind
You know, he's got a groin injury. He wasn't able to be effective and get back in the game for us. So I don't have anything other than that.
Mike, the sequence at the end of the first half when you guys get down to the one and don't score the touchdown, psychologically, was there kind of a letdown with your team?
You know, I don't know about psychologically. We'd like to score a touchdown right there with the ball on the one. We weren't able to do it. It was still a one-possession game, but it would have been You know, it would have been significant right there to get to 7. We didn't.
You have been so aggressive defensively during this entire win streak. It didn't seem like you brought as much pressure as usual, blitzed. Any particular reason for that?
You know, it wasn't effective. We did at times. When we did, it wasn't effective as we would like it to be. They made some quick throws. You know, like I said at the beginning, the style of play of the game was probably what was most disappointing. It leaned to more toward their style of play as opposed to our style of play, and that's not what we wanted.
From your view, what happened with the first 2 touchdowns of Chris Hogan early in the game?
You know, we just didn't make enough plays. You know, we weren't tight enough in coverage. We didn't apply enough consistent pressure to the quarterback, largely over the course of the game, and I'm sure the same could be said about those scores.
Trying to find a secondary receiver all season to complement Antonio. How much did it hurt that Coates and Hamilton didn't make the plays when their number was called early?
You know, like I said, we didn't make enough of the plays. You know, that's life, man. You get opportunities, you get combat catch opportunities, you get playmaking opportunities. You got to make them. You know, when you're in championship caliber play or championship level football, and we didn't do enough of it.
Mike, do you have a philosophical opposition to quarterback sneaks?
I do not.
On the first touchdown of Hogan, was Golden the one who was supposed to be toward the back line?
I'm not going to get into assign and blame. It was, you know, good execution by them and not good enough by us collectively.
Mike, in terms of the style you were looking for, more running, ball control, possession, that kind of thing?
You know, just not necessarily specifically that, but, you know, they played the type of ball that they normally play, and we didn't play the type of ball that we normally play. And in order for us to be successful, we felt like we had to play our style of ball, and it didn't get to that.
Why do you think that is?
You know, you got to compliment them, of course. It starts there. But we didn't make enough plays. We didn't execute enough. We didn't put our guys in good enough position consistently. We failed collectively.
Is that more of a tempo issue, the way they played the first half?
You know, sometimes tempo, sometimes not. Not overly concerned with the tempo. Again, my statement was my statement.
Mike, did losing Bell change your strategy at all on offense?
No question. But, you know, like I said, injuries are a part of the game. We didn't do a good enough job or a quick enough job adapting to the circumstance.
Mike, in 2012, Brady had been on the string of a lot of success against you guys. You guys came out, did a lot of press man, threw a curveball at them. They had trouble with it. Was there any thought of doing something similar to that in this game?
You know, obviously you weigh those options in preparation. We stand by what we did in the game. We just didn't do it well enough.
Anyone else for Coach?
On the flea flicker, when Lewis tosses it back, did he hold the fake pretty good on that one to make him buy
it? It was great execution by them.
Can you say we're a ways away, or is it just one bad night?
You know, I'm not ready to paint with a broad brush. You know, this 2016 is over for us. You know, we'll start anew like everybody else in football for 2017. It's never a continuation. So you can assess it in whatever way you'd like to.
All right. We'll bring Ben in.
That was head coach Mike Tomlin. Ryan Clark, former Steeler, here with us on SportsCenter. You know, Ryan, 2 things stood out, and that was the fact that Coach Tomlin pointed out that they lacked pressure on Tom Brady. He pointed right to that. And he also said the style of their game was in the favor of the Patriots. So when you hear him say that, what does that mean, and how did they do that?
Well, obviously, they wanted to get Tom Brady off of his point. And what I mean by that, Tom Brady stands in the pocket at a certain depth, at a certain level, and you want to move him off of his spot. He's not as effective of a passer when you get him outside of the pocket. So that's what he said. They tried to bring pressure early, but it was ineffective, which it has been a lot of times against Tom Brady, because the Pittsburgh Steelers have to bring zone pressure. They don't have the defensive backs to match up against these guys and press them and make them run around and make them have to work hard to get off the line of scrimmage. So when Tom Brady's picking that apart, you say to yourself, okay, let's try zone. And when they tried zone, Tom Brady was also able to eat that up.
Can you play zone and expect to win against Brady?
I mean, you can. It just depends on if you have the 4 guys up front to bring pressure, which the Pittsburgh Steelers don't. You have to get pressure on Tom Brady. If you allow him to sit back there and wait for guys to get open, he's too good of a quarterback, too accurate to not be able to make plays.
Coach mentioned, or at least he was questioned psychologically, when you lose a guy like Le'Veon Bell, who's the nucleus, of your offense right there. Did that affect the team? From your playing days, when you would lose a major part of your team like that to injury, how does that change?
No, I think the thing that it is, it's how fast do you adapt? And that was his answer. He was like, injuries are part of the game. We didn't do a quick enough job of adjusting. And that's what it's about. As long as you can keep things moving, keep the ball moving, keep your team in the game, then you're okay. They actually scored on the first drive that D'Angelo Williams was in the game. It wasn't through the run game. He was effective in the passing game. But as the game started to go on, as it started to wear on, Tom Brady and that offense got the ball too often. There were too many 3-and-outs. There were too many drives that ended up unsuccessful for the Pittsburgh Steelers, which in turn allowed the New England Patriots to build a bigger lead as the game went on.
All right, well, the Patriots win 36-17. We're still waiting for Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, Big Ben, to come to the podium. We're going to bring it to you here live on SportsCenter as soon as they step up, get showered, and probably deal with all the media. But I want to start looking ahead. I know we got 2 weeks to chat about it. We've got the Falcons and the Patriots. And, Ryan, my first thought when I saw that the Patriots were going to win was, wow, Dan Quinn had that defense in Seattle. This is going to be a rematch of a Seattle-type defense against the Patriots like we saw in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. What are the Patriots ready to face this kind of defense? Do you think they're going to have an issue with this?
Listen, the Patriots are ready to face this defense because it is a zone defense. It's a cover 3 scheme defense. But the difference is Seattle had different type of pieces. Right? You had a Richard Sherman. You had a Earl Thomas. Lane was hurt throughout the game. That's when Byron Maxwell could actually play football. They had Chris Averill and Michael Bennett up front. And so you had those guys. It's been yet to be seen if Atlanta has those guys. But the other thing Atlanta has is an offense that can produce points at a high rate. And we saw today, if they're producing the points like they were against Green Bay, the Atlanta defense can get stops. The Atlanta defense can create pressure. And so I think this is going to be a very good matchup to watch, not only with the X's and O's on the field, but schematically, how do these two offensive coordinators, whether it be Coach Quinn and his defense or Josh McDaniels and his offense, how do they match up, and in which ways do they find to attack one another?
Do you think that the Patriots' defense this season has improved, though? Because I feel like if there's one area of this team that has been criticized, it has been their defense. Are they going to be able to handle a high-powering offense like Matt Ryan and Julio Jones?
You almost look at it like nobody can handle what Atlanta does. It seems like Atlanta is the only team that can stop themselves. But if you look at the New England Patriots, they're a great scoring defense. They're the number 1 scoring defense in this league. And teams can move the ball 20-20, but when it gets into the red zone, when the field shortens, that's when they come up big. That's when Matt Patricia finds ways to stop you from doing the things you do best. And so if they can keep Atlanta out of the end zone, if they can force Bryant to kick field goals, that's what keeps them in the game. That's what makes this a game where we have to see if Tom Brady makes plays or if Matt Ryan makes plays. And even though Matt Ryan's going to be the MVP, if I have Tom Brady, I still feel really good about my chances against any quarterback in this league.
Matt Ryan going to his first Super Bowl. Obviously, the big story going into this postseason for him was Can he win? He's not very good in the playoffs. Well, he's turned it around. He's going to the Super Bowl. So the guy can win. That said, you don't have a lot of experience there. Tom Brady, 7 times he's been here. Does that really... Actually, we're going to hold on. Think about this. Ben Roethlisberger at the podium, live on SportsCenter.
Style of the game, not what you guys wanted, but what they wanted. What wasn't happening for you on offense to make it more the game you guys wanted to play?
I thought we moved the ball well when we needed to. Obviously, the red zone trips need to turn into 7 points, which we talked about before. They were better than us today.
Ben, was there any reason you couldn't have just snuck the ball in on that 1st and inches?
You know what? Just go with the plays that are called. Todd calls a play to me, and we call it in huddle.
Okay.
There missed assignments down there on the 2 negative runs.
I don't know right now. It's hard to to know without seeing it on film, because my back's turned to what's going on, obviously.
Ben, do you think the inability to score that touchdown just before halftime, that was the difference in the game?
I don't know if that's the one thing, but you got to score when you're down there. There were other missed opportunities, whether we didn't execute well enough, whether plays weren't made by me or other guys. It just times almost felt maybe it was too big for some of the young guys.
Was there one specific aspect of Le'Veon's game that you thought you could especially exploit today?
Well, I thought D'Angelo did a great job. Obviously we were going to try and use Le'Veon's a special back. I mean, we all know that. We missed not having him out there, but I don't want to take anything away from what D'Angelo did. We would have used Le'Veon some of the pass game. D'Angelo might have been our leading receiver. I mean, I don't know, but he had a lot of catches. He found his way open and made plays for us. And you just can't say enough for what he did, stepping in for probably the best back in the game.
Ben, how tough is it when you said guys like Coates and Hamilton have given you one big play a game at times? How tough is it when they didn't make those plays, and those may have been plays you were counting on?
Yeah, a little frustrating because we talk about sometimes it's just one play here, one play there. And, tonight we didn't make those plays. And, like I said, was it too big? Was it just what was? I don't know. But, we need to make every single play in a game like this against an opponent like this.
How hard is it when your secondary receiving isn't doing the job in that regard and the other teams is?
I still think the guys played great. I mean, I thought Eli stepped up big time today, worked the middle of the field. Jesse had an amazing game. Really saw a lot of growth from him. Kobe making the play there at the end and making a couple real tough combat catches. We all need to be better.
Considering the window you guys have and how close you are, would you like to see some more weapons in this offense next season?
I like the guys we have.
Ben, Le'Veon said it's like in the bottom for a little while. Do you sense that could happen today?
No, I didn't. I wasn't. When all of a sudden we saw D'Angelo on the field, wasn't sure what it was, but we assumed.
Ben, there were the reports of the alarm in the team hotel last night.
There were no reports. It happened.
Yes. I wasn't there, so I'm going on the reports. Any effect on anyone today, do you think?
And were they pretty much forcing you to go away from AB to try to go to Kobe?
Yeah, I mean, we're used to that. I thought they did a good job of kind of letting him run and doing a trail technique and then having a safety over the top. But that's where other guys need to step up, and I thought they did a good job of that for the most part. We all just need to make more plays.
How frustrating is it when you have a game like you did today and Brady kind of, has the game he had today?
Well, there's a reason he's one of the best to ever play the game. That's why we have respect for him, and we know coming into this environment what we were up against, and that's why we needed to play a near flawless game, and we didn't.
Anyone else? Address the level of what you're thinking right now, coming this close and having the rug pulled out.
Yeah, I mean, only one team's ever going to end the season the way they want to, and it's not us this year. But I told the guys afterwards I was proud of them. We went from 4-5 to the championship game. If there's going to be any silver lining, it's that.
That's the Steelers quarterback. Let's go to New England Patriots quarterback, TB12.
First off, what does it mean for you to be going back to the Super Bowl?
Hasn't sunk in yet, so it's we've looked at every week it's kind of been one day at a time and one game at a time, and I haven't even said those words yet. So, well, I said them after the game, but not at all this week or now it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Tom, the 2 touchdown passes to Chris Hogan, if you could just go back through those, how those unfolded.
The first one was, he just kind of sprung free there in the back of the end zone. I was holding the ball. We had a really good blitz pickup, and, I just kind of cut it loose, and he was open. And then what was the second one?
The second one was the flea flicker.
Oh, the flea flicker. How could I forget that? It was just a great call. They were a little winded, I thought, and got the pitch back from D. Lou, and I saw Hogs, burning up the field and just laid it out there for him. So it's a great play.
What has Hogan meant to this offense?
He's been incredible. I mean, to lead the league in, average yards per catch is spectacular. And, he's made big plays for us all season. He made big plays in the biggest game of the year for us. And Julian, Malcolm, Danny, what they've done, Mike Floyd, what he's done in a short period of time, and Marty and Matt Langel, what Gronk contributed this year, what the guys up front did with D. Lou and LeGarrette and James White and Dev. I mean, it's been really spectacular. So it's we should enjoy this. It's really, you never know if you'll get these opportunities in life. And fortunately, this team has got the opportunity, and now we got to, do something, go try to take advantage.
To your right.
Tom, Tom, just following up on Mike a little bit with regard to Chris, did you know much about him when he was in Buffalo, and what was your reaction when you guys had gotten him in free agency, and just kind of how's his development going?
Yeah, I've obviously followed him because you see a lot of those games, and he's been, he's a great player for them, and they can't keep everybody, but I'm glad we got him. So he's just done an incredible job for us.
Hey, Tom, there were a lot of games, it seemed, afterwards where you felt as if you guys were this close or just hadn't done exactly what you wanted to do offensively. Was this a little bit closer?
Yeah, it was a good day. We're going to the Super Bowl, man. Shit. You got to be happy now.
And a quick follow on that is, how personally satisfying is it? There was a period of time you weren't on the field at the beginning of the year. Now you're going to play in the final game, even if you weren't there for the first few.
Well, I think, that's because of the hard work of a lot of people, from my coaches to my teammates to our families who support us. It takes a lot of people and a lot of hard work, a lot of effort over the course of many months. And this didn't start at 6:40 tonight. This thing started in April. It really started before that in free agency. We were picking up guys like Hogan and drafting guys like Malcolm Mitchell, and guys were in rehab like LG and D-Lou and Dev and Nate and all those guys. So it's a lot of hard work. I mean, it's only 2 teams left standing, and I'm happy we're one of them. That's what our goal is, and it's nice to be able to achieve that.
Tom, on the 2 touchdowns to Hogan, the first one, it looked like did you move the safety a little bit?
Yeah, I moved a little bit to the left because they were pressuring up the middle, and the pocket kind of collapsed. So I kind of slid to the left, and I had a good vision, and they kind of bit down on Julian pretty hard, and then Hogs just was standing there in the back of the end zone, and I saw him, and then I just wanted to kind of confirm that no one was too close to him, and I just tried to put it on him.
And the second one, D-Lou, he carries out the fake pretty well. How often do you guys work on that play to get that kind of execution down?
If it's in the plan, we practice it. Some weeks more than others, but we ran one earlier in the year against, I think it was Baltimore, and it worked. And I hit Hogan on that one too, on a crossing route. So it was, those have been well-executed plays, and it's nice when you could take advantage of some of those plays. It's nice to gain some chunks that way when you kind of, get some misdirection or, double pass, flea flicker, or something like that. It's a big spark for the team. So it was a great effort by our team and a great win.
Tom up the middle here. The no-huddle offense, you guys went up tempo. How did that help you guys tonight? And also the Steelers' run defense, what kind of challenge did that present for you?
They played good. I thought their linebackers played great. It's a tough run-stopping defense. It always has been over the years, and I don't think we were as productive as we wanted to be in the run game. And it was a little bit of a slugfest there at the line of scrimmage, and they got a lot of big, tough guys. So to go fast and try to keep them off balance was good. That worked a little bit. I still wish we had made a few more plays out there tonight, but we'll watch the film and try to figure it out for next game.
Tom, most of the year you guys like to defer when you get the kickoff, when you get to win the toss. This year, today, you took the ball. Was it something you saw during the week, or is there a specific reason why you took the ball first today?
I'm not sure. That surprised me, too. So I was sitting there and said, we won the toss, great. And I was going to sit down, and he goes, we got the ball. And I'm like, what? I thought we won the toss. So I wasn't sure how that all worked.
Tom, obviously, as the quarterback and captain of the offense, you get asked a lot of questions about that group. But as you've practiced against this defense, especially from about the midpoint of the season on, have you seen them develop as a group and kind of develop this chip on their shoulder? Because it seems like they came in very highly motivated to prove a lot of naysayers wrong during the course of the year.
Yeah, and there was a lot of, I think there's a lot of noise always. And, sometimes you don't always have it figured out, 4 games into the year. And there's a lot of moving parts, and the second half of the year, you're right, I practice against those guys every day, and it's hard to complete passes. And I know if I can complete it against our defense, then we should be fine on Sunday because our guys do a great job in the pass game, and so many great pressures they got a lot of good scheme stuff. So they got a good defense. We got a good defense, and to slow down offense like that was pretty great. So one more, and I'm going to see my family, guys.
Tom, I know the game just ended, but you could not have not heard the Roger chant late in the game. What are your thoughts on that? And are you comfortable knowing that becomes a storyline going into this Super Bowl?
I didn't hear that chant, so I did hear him singing to Bon Jovi, though. That was pretty cool. that was pretty cool. So thank you guys. I'm going to head
Tom.
to the States and see my family.
All right, so when it comes to the playoffs, no one shows up more than Tom Brady. He made an NFL record 13 appearances in the divisional round, 11 in conference championship games, and most importantly, Brady will be making his 7th Super Bowl appearance. How about that? 2 weeks already. We're at the beginning there. All right, so we heard from both quarterbacks right there, Tom Brady. But I first actually want to talk about Ben Roethlisberger. I know you played with him.
Mm-hmm.
How does he take losing? What's he like?
Oh, he hates losing. Ben actually is good at everything. He's one of those people you kind of don't like. It's like if he plays ping pong, he's really good at it. They built this basket, like for a basketball in the garbage can and play around the world. He'd always win in that. The offensive versus defensive softball game in training camp, offense always wins because he's on the team. You know, he's just one of those guys, one of those four sport lettermans in high school who just know how to win things and win games and win matches. And so for him, this is tough. But you heard him talk about Tom Brady. He has a lot of respect for what Tom Brady has accomplished and for what Tom Brady is still doing on the field. And for him, this will motivate him to get back to this point. He wants to be thought of as one of the greatest. He wants to be one of the best quarterbacks of this era. And so I know for him, it's important that with his guys, that with his team, that with him being the leader, because the 2 Super Bowls early on in his career were about defense. Mm-hmm. You know, he did make the big throw to Santonio Holmes, but Ben Roethlisberger wasn't the leader of those teams. There was the Hines Wards and the James Ferriers and all those guys who had played over a decade worth of football at that time. So Ben Roethlisberger wants to take this team to the promised land when it's his team, when he's the captain, when he's the voice. And I think he will accomplish that and be focused on doing that.
So many players in the league have so much respect for Ben Roethlisberger,
Yeah.
and of course you do as a former teammate. But here you have Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, it sounds like a simple statement, but I've wondered this. What makes him so great?
I mean, if we knew, we just bottle it up and sell it to people.
I would.
You know, I mean, I think, you know, I mean, you look at Tom Brady and you look at where he came from, the 199th pick of the draft, and you know what? He deserved to be. He actually earned that spot. Tom Brady wasn't better than that at that point. But you saw him work. You saw the evolution of Tom Brady. You saw him become the starting quarterback when Drew Bledsoe goes down, take that team to a Super Bowl, continue to progress. Now he has these crazy diet regimens. He lives with his trainer. There's a dietitian that lives with him because he wants to be the best. I practiced with Tom Brady in Washington the year that we both were there. You were covering the team and I was there. And I was in awe of the way he conducted practice. The fact that Bill Belichick could sit in the back and not talk. Yep. While the team was on the field, because Tom Brady was that in tuned, that focused, that intense about practice early on in camp. And so when you have that type of competitive nature, when you have that type of will to be great, the sky's the limit. And Tom Brady does whatever it takes for him to be good. And it's not easy. And that's why everybody can't do it.
I actually remember you guys in 11v11s, and it was so quiet out there.
Yeah.
It was silent.
That's because
and you just heard Tom.
That's because the man was talking.
Yeah, exactly. And then remember how lined up they were. That said, the Patriots are going to face the Falcons here, and you don't think it's going to be that easy of a task.
No.
You got a Kyle Shanahan offense going up a Matt Patricia experienced defense here. How do you think the Falcons are going to be able to beat them?
I think the Falcons can beat them offensively. I think the Falcons are a matchup problem for any defense in the NFL, even a defense that has a Bill Belichick and a Matt Patricia mind behind it. If you look at these two running backs, there's no better duo in the league as far as running and catching the football. Julio Jones, arguably the best offensive player in the league that doesn't play quarterback. Mohamed Sadu, Gabriel. You have guys all over the field where Matt Ryan can spread you out and push the ball down the field or take the underneath route and take the run after the catch. And so the thing that the Patriots have to do is understand it's not about stopping them from getting yardage. It's about third down, situational football, 2-minute, red zone. If they can come up with the big plays in those situations, that's the way to beat the Atlanta Falcons, because when they had trouble last year, it was in those pressure situational football situations where Matt Ryan couldn't convert.
All right, well, Westgate right now has the over-under on this game, 58. That's the highest.
Sounds about right.
In the Super Bowl.
Sounds about right.
All right, we are working Ryan Clark to death. Thank you so much for your perspective, your insight, your inside information as well. You can see Ryan Clark over on SportsCenter on ESPN at 11 o'clock. Darren, I'll send it over to you.
All right, you two.